The much-awaited fight between Gervonta Tank Davis and Lamont Roach just took place, and these are the reactions from the boxing world.
You know, in the early rounds, it looked as though Tank was doing what he does and setting up a possible knockout or a probable knockout, which was what most people expected to see. And then over the course of the next several rounds, you saw that maybe the opponent, Lamont Roach, actually got stronger moving up 5 pounds to 135 pounds. He was able to take Tank shots without ever really being in any serious trouble. That, I think, was unusual and disconcerting for Tank. He got a little desperate in the late rounds and began throwing much more than is normally the case. It created action, it created excitement, there was tension in the audience. It was a memorable fight, and I want to see a rematch as rapidly as a rematch can be made.
They said majority draw. They cheated Roach. Roach got robbed. A majority draw. They cheated Roach. They cheated Roach. Look at Jake. Everybody know they cheated him. Everybody know they cheated Roach. Everybody know they cheated Roach. Roach got robbed, and everybody knows it. And it was a 10-8 while they robbed him. They robbed Roach. Roach beat Tank. They robbed him. Rematch right away. They robbed him.
I mean, definitely an off night for Tank, but Lamont Roach is the guy, man. He showed up, and Tank gave him a tremendous amount of respect in the fight, and we saw why. I mean, he's a great counterpuncher, he's very high boxing IQ. He always says, I hit harder than people think, I hit harder than my record says. He stunned Tank several times. You know, Tank looked like the guy with the heavier hands, but Lamont had the better chin. So it's all relative. You know, so if Tank hits real hard, but the guy can take it, doesn't really matter. And I thought Roach was brilliant tonight. He had a good game plan, but those early rounds are what haunts him. He's gonna lay up at night that he wasn't a little more aggressive early on, because early on there wasn't much going on. There was time for him to take places for him to steal those rounds. And obviously he didn't. I want to see what the official scorecard breakdown was and how they had everybody in which direction and which rounds. But I mean, super close fight. I could have edged it for Tank. Lamont obviously had great rounds. He was able to wobble Tank a few times. He got wobbled himself one time with a right hook, but I don't know, man. Roach won the story.
Roach won the story.
Roach won the story. He didn't get the win, but he won the story.
Who you thought won? Who you thought won? Lamont.
You thought Lamont won? By how many rounds?
I don't know.
You still want the Tank Davis fight?
You said what?
You still want the Tank Davis fight? What went wrong? What went wrong? Take out a little steam or a fire out of it, or is it still the same?
I mean, we're gonna see. I'm the best fighter in boxing. I've been saying this, so.
Shakur, what went wrong for Gervonta in this fight? Just because, could we say maybe because Lamont didn't come in, they really...
I think he got overconfident. I think he was thinking Lamont wasn't that good. I told everybody how the fight was gonna go. The fight went exactly how I said. Exactly.
After seeing this performance from Gervonta, do you believe your confidence has gone a little bit more up?
My confidence been up. I've been knew I was the best.
What'd you think of the fight, man? Are you surprised by the outcome? It was a close fight.
I'm not surprised the way Lamont fought. I knew Lamont was going to come to fight. It was an opportunity of a lifetime. He did a good job. He fought a great fight.
What went wrong with Tank Davis? I mean, I was
what was wrong with him?
Out.
Every night in boxing is not your best, you feel me? But at least you got the draw.
Would you like to see a rematch of this or jump into a fight with Shakur Stevenson?
They don't, whatever they want to do.
You think it was a draw?
I don't know. It was a good fight.
Hey man, what'd you think? The crowd didn't seem to like the draw. Did you think that was the right call?
Nah, man, I ain't gonna lie. I love Gervonta. Obviously, we come from a lot of the same shit. But I love boxing, and I seen Lamont Roach outclass Gervonta Davis tonight.
Yeah.
And I ain't against your Tank. I'm just a boxer. If you ask me, I'm gonna keep it real.
Yeah.
I thought Lamont did enough to receive the victory.
Yeah.
Obviously, it didn't go his way. It was a good fight. The boxing fans won. And shit,
about the knockdown, no
I think if anytime you take a knee or touch the canvas, and it's through to a blunt punch, or even if you hurt and you go down, that's a knockdown.
What'd you think about the performance? You thought it was a fair decision?
Yeah, definitely, man. I thought they both put it out there. Roach definitely showed up and did his thing. But Gervonta Davis is the champ, and it takes a lot to be able to beat the champ. But Roach definitely had something that we all wasn't expecting. Right in the power, his combinations as well. He definitely came to fight, man. He got great skills, and it was a great fight overall.
I mean, you gotta understand. Can't underestimate the underdog, bro. He's hungry, you know what I mean? They wasn't giving him no credit. They were making us see it was a slouch. You could run over. You can't do that in boxing. Anything could happen. You could have a great night, believe that. You gotta believe in your soul, and I think the kid was in there with his soul tonight. It was a good fight, don't get me wrong. And to me, it could have went either way.
Either way.
Could have went either way.
So you okay with a draw?
Yeah, I mean, it's cool. I mean, a draw is not a loss or a win. For the fighters, it's like...
No. I know you're not okay with the draw, Pat. Let me make sure I clear that up. You're okay with the draw in this fight?
I think they did right.
Yeah.
It could have went either way. They chose a draw, one judge. So I think it's cool. I mean, they want to run it back, they can, but I won't do it. I just keep moving.
Clearly in there, man. I thought I won. I thought I did enough to get the victory over a spectacular fighter. I told y'all from the beginning, man, that I got the skills to pay the bills. I've been telling y'all that. And I'm just glad I got to show it, honestly. I'm glad I got to show it. I appreciate, like I said before, I appreciate true boxing media. Some guys that didn't count me out. So that's just how I feel, man. I think I won. And, I can't wait to do it again. I can't wait to dance again.
The boxing world before the match was largely in favor of Davis, with several analysts and fighters confident in his ability to dominate Roach. However, opinions on how the fight would unfold varied, each expert offering their unique perspective on what Roach needed to do to challenge Tank's prowess in the ring. Teddy Atlas was unequivocal in his belief that Davis was one of the top 5 pound-for-pound fighters in the sport. He praised Tank's versatility, pointing out that his ability to box, counterpunch, and apply pressure made him a complete fighter. According to Atlas, Davis's defense, patience, and mental toughness were key factors that would make him a formidable opponent for anyone in the sport. He emphasized that these qualities made Tank a dangerous presence in the ring, and despite Roach's skill set, it would take more than just technique to overcome Davis's complete game.
But for me, Tank Davis is in the elite class of boxing right now. He's just in the higher altitudes of the sport. He's in the top 5 for me. When you talk about the top 5 best pound for pound right now, you're saying so. And for me, he's there not just because he's a puncher, because he's an all-around package. He can box, he can counterpunch, he can go get you, he can go to the body, go to the head, put punches together. His defense is responsible, he's patient, he's mentally together.
Oscar De La Hoya echoed similar sentiments, confidently predicting a dominant victory for Davis. De La Hoya highlighted Davis's superior size and skill, which he believed would ultimately overpower Roach's talent. He suggested that Roach's technical abilities would not be enough to overcome the physical advantage and experience Davis brought to the table. In his view, Tank's ability to slip punches and land devastating shots would leave Roach unaware of the damage he had taken, and his elusive style coupled with knockout power would make it nearly impossible for Roach to mount any serious offensive threat.
Good matchup because of that. Lamont's style is pretty well too. I wouldn't say he has that much pop to keep Tank off of him, but I feel like his style is pretty good to fight to match up with Tank. But I still don't see him being enough to stop Tank. I still think that Tank stops him probably in the later rounds, mid to late rounds. And yeah, but I think it will still be an enjoyable fight to watch.
Ryan Garcia, who had shared the ring with Tank Davis before, also weighed in on the match, acknowledging Roach's technical ability, but suggesting that it would not be enough to compete with Davis's raw power and physicality. Garcia made a point that boxing was not only about technique, but also about commanding respect in the ring. Roach's lack of knockout power, according to Garcia, would prevent him from establishing any rhythm or momentum against Tank. He firmly believed that Davis's overwhelming physical presence and knockout ability would be the deciding factors in the fight, leaving Roach at a significant disadvantage.
I think Lamont Roach just doesn't have the firepower to, hold off Tank. I think he has great skills, but I don't think he has the firepower to get Tank's respect, and I think that you have to have that. If you don't, then you really have no chance. So it's kind of similar, like to me and Devin Haney. I just didn't respect anything he threw, and anytime I wanted to land, I did. So I think it's going to be a similar, not similar fight, but I think it's a similar aspect that he's not going to be able to get him off.
Rolly Romero was unwavering in his confidence, asserting that Davis could not be matched in the critical areas of boxing. Romero believed that no other fighter could match Tank's punching power, technical ability, or physical attributes. While some analysts had suggested that other fighters might outbox Davis, Romero felt that none could compete with Tank's complete skill set. He pointed out that Roach's decision to move up in weight could work against him, slowing his reactions and making it harder to match Davis's speed and power. For Romero, the size and power disparity between the two fighters meant that Roach would struggle to keep up with Davis's relentless attack.
Even like I said, like, man, you could say, oh, like you can make a claim like, oh, maybe like this person's a better boxer, but he's not a better boxer than Tank. He's not a bigger puncher. He's not bigger than Tank. He's moving up in weight, so that might affect him, make him a little bit slower.
Right.
Tank has a crazy ring IQ. Tank has the better legs. Like, bro, you can't make a claim for any of this stuff.
Jermaine Ortiz offered a more nuanced prediction. While he acknowledged Davis's knockout power, Ortiz pointed out that Tank had predominantly fought smaller opponents in the past. He suggested that Roach's decision to move up in weight could present a new dynamic for Davis. Ortiz believed that Tank's usual aggressive style might not work as smoothly against someone with Roach's unique movement and skill. He recommended that Davis use his aggression to walk Roach down, as he had done with larger opponents before. While Ortiz didn't expect Roach to win, he believed that Tank would need to adjust his approach to handle Roach's style and movement effectively.
We'll see. I just think that Davis really got that knockout power. He doesn't have a lot of output. He's fighting somebody who's closer to his height. I think it would be more of a fight. I think the last time he fought somebody shorter than him was Pitbull, and he tried to box him and he came out. A lot of people didn't like that fight in the sense of, I assume people thought Pitbull won the fight, or it was just a closer fight.
Davis's longtime coach Calvin Ford also offered his take on the matchup, particularly focusing on the personal history between Davis and Roach. Ford recalled their battles during their amateur days, suggesting that there was more at stake in the fight than just a title. He believed that Roach's fighting spirit and their shared past would make the contest more competitive than many people expected. Ford dismissed negative commentary, highlighting that Roach had willingly accepted the fight. He thought that alone was deserving of respect, and that the personal rivalry could fuel a deeper level of intensity in the bout.
And Gervonta Tank Davis just been released to the public. We know now, December 14th, Houston, Texas, he's going to be facing a very tough opponent in Lamont Roach. Can you tell us a little bit about the history between them two?
Oh man, they've been knowing each other from the amateurs, silver gloves, everything. They grew up actually together, you know. Roach and him back and forth battles and whatnot. It's going to be a pretty interesting fight, you know what I'm saying? Because Roach he come to fight. And I think it's a great fight. Everybody talking all that stuff about, why Roach? Because he signed and took the fight, you know what I'm saying? And it's good for the community.
Derek Bozy Ennis expressed strong confidence in Davis's victory, though he acknowledged Roach's skills. Ennis emphasized that Davis's superior attributes, including his experience in high-profile fights, would be the deciding factors in the matchup. He pointed out that Tank's ability to adapt to any situation had been a hallmark of his career, and his combination of speed, power, and boxing IQ made him a tough opponent for anyone, Roach included. Ennis had no doubts that Davis's superior skill set would prove too much for Roach to handle.
I think that's be a good fight, man. I think it'd be a good fight, man. Him and Tank. I think it'll be a real good fight, man. You know what I mean? I think I would have to go with Tank, though. I would have to go with Tank. You know what I mean? But I think it's a real good fight, you know what I mean?
Lenny Wilson offered a more balanced take, focusing on the strategic aspects of the fight. He noted that both fighters would need to execute their game plans perfectly if they were to have any chance of succeeding. For Wilson, Roach's ability to maintain movement and stay elusive was key, as Davis's explosive power posed a constant threat. Wilson refrained from predicting a winner, suggesting that both fighters would need to rely on their strategies, with Davis's superior physical attributes potentially tipping the scale in his favor. He felt that it would be difficult for Roach to impose his will on Tank given the latter's overwhelming skill set.
So I think that if Lamont Roach got a good chin, you dig it, then it could go the distance. If you don't, Tank is gonna put him out. But it can also go the distance because Tank know how to box too. I've watched him in the ring. I've watched him in the gym. I see what he can do. You understand? So, but if I had to bet my money, I'm gonna bet my money on Tank.
Michael Fox, who had sparred with both fighters, weighed in with his thoughts on the match. Fox acknowledged Davis's knockout power, but stressed that Tank's technical boxing abilities were often overlooked. Roach, with his unique style, might present some problems for Davis, particularly with his ability to stay out of range and move effectively. However, Fox pointed out that Davis could change the course of a fight with a single punch, making him an ever-present threat to Roach. He also touched on Roach's own punching power, citing his near stoppage of Jamel Herring as an example. While Roach might possess enough power to make Davis respect him, Fox suggested that the real question was whether Roach could truly test Tank's chin when the stakes were higher, especially in a major fight under the bright lights.
Think about both fighters, Tank and Lamont. They're both very impressive boxers. A lot of people forget that just because Tank is also a big puncher, but this is gonna be chess. It's gonna be chess. It's gonna be both guys trying to one up each other a bunch of times. So it's definitely not gonna be sweet. We know Tank had the equalizer, but the biggest difference I feel in Lamont versus Tank's other opponents, we all know Tank a different way than everybody he's fought against previously.
Would you say his power is also a huge factor in this fight?
He has enough power to be respected, to get his respect in the ring. He won't be taken lightly. He won't be taken lightly by Tank. Anybody that's been in the ring with Tank, myself included, we know you come in there lackadaisical, throw anything lazy, he will counter. And like you said, he put some folks down. Can he put them away? I don't know. We haven't really seen Tank in no trouble, but like I said, he hits hard enough to gain respect.
Bruce Carrington focused on Roach's ability to withstand the pressure that Tank was known for. Carrington pointed out that Davis's relentless aggression and pinpoint accuracy could wear down Roach over the course of the fight. Although Carrington had described the fight as potentially entertaining, he ultimately predicted that Tank would secure a stoppage victory, given the cumulative effects of his aggressive style Davis could apply, according to Carrington, would be too much for Roach to handle over time.
It's gonna be a good matchup because of that. Lamont's style is pretty well too. I wouldn't say he has that much pop to keep Tank off of him, but I feel like his style is pretty good to fight to match up with Tank. But I still don't see him being enough to stop Tank. I still think that Tank stops him probably in the later rounds, mid to late rounds. And but I think it'll still be an enjoyable fight to watch.
Regis offered a different perspective, suggesting that the fight could go the distance. He believed Roach could present a more formidable challenge than many expected, drawing a comparison to Davis's tough fight with Isac Pitbull Cruz. Regis speculated that Roach's tenacity and resilience could allow him to drag the fight into deeper rounds than Tank's previous opponents. While Prograis still favored Davis to win, he believed that Roach's toughness could test Tank's ability to adapt under pressure, potentially revealing new facets of Davis's boxing IQ and stamina.
I feel a distance. I feel Tank distance. Yeah, I feel Tank with distance in a controversial fight. How about that? Ooh. Tank distance and people in a controversial. Something like kind of like how Pitbull was, like that.
Stephen A. Smith raised an interesting point about the potential size difference between the two fighters. He had suggested that Roach's decision to move up in weight could leave him at a significant disadvantage against Davis's raw power and strength. While acknowledging the skill of both fighters, Smith emphasized that the physical disparity between them could be a critical factor. He pointed out past instances where Davis had dominated opponents who moved up in weight, such as Frank Martin, who struggled against Tank's strength. Smith's main concern was that Davis's ability to overpower opponents physically would give him the edge over Roach, making it difficult for the latter to compete on an equal footing.
I think Roach is too small, and that's my issue. I'm not questioning the skill set or anything like that, but it was similar to Frank Martin. You know what I mean? This guy comes in there and you got 18 fights, and I remember watching that pre-fight press conference when he was annoying Gervonta Davis so much, and he cussed by accident. Excuse me. He cussed by accident. He was like, ooh, you know, making this up. He hurt me in sparring, and you know, and I knew Gervonta was going to come for him, and sure enough, that's what he did. Walked right towards him from round one on.
Mikey Garcia shared his thoughts on the matchup, placing particular emphasis on Davis's knockout power. Garcia had praised Tank's ability to deliver devastating punches, a factor he believed set him apart from other fighters in the division. And for Garcia, it was not just Davis's power, but also his experience and confidence that made him a nearly unbeatable opponent. He had noted that Tank's self-assurance and understanding of his abilities enabled him to execute his game plan with precision, further complicating matters for Roach. Garcia had confidently predicted a Davis victory, emphasizing Tank's impressive track record and reputation as one of the most feared fighters in the sport.
Who do you think wins as well? No, honestly, I think Tank is one of the very best fighters, definitely in the lightweight division. I don't think Roach will be a huge threat for Tank. Tank is very talented, very skilled, and also very experienced at this point now. He's fought and seen pretty much every style there is, and his power is tremendous, where he has that knockout punching power, and he's got the confidence to do it, and you just see his demeanor. He's just confident. He knows he's gonna, go out there and execute, and so it's hard to go against Tank. Yeah.
Showbiz the Adult introduced an element of uncertainty into the predictions, speculating that Davis's ongoing issues with his promotional team could affect his focus and preparation for the fight. While most analysts had been confident in a Davis victory, Showbiz raised the possibility that these external distractions might lead to a less than expected performance from Tank. He suggested that the combination of Davis's natural talent and the mental and emotional turmoil outside the ring might make him more vulnerable than anticipated, opening the door for Roach to capitalize on any lapses in Tank's game. Showbiz even recommended that fans and bettors consider betting against Davis, pointing out the unpredictability that could emerge from Davis's struggles outside the ring.
Gervonta Tank Davis doesn't seem happy business-wise, and he doesn't seem happy about the sport of boxing, saying boxing sucked. He hasn't been sounding positive. His latest post of the fight is effing canceled. On top of that, him deleting his socials and stuff like that. It's just a bunch of stuff outside that makes me think, is he really focused on this fight? And even if he's focused, because Gervonta Tank Davis definitely is a professional, he definitely don't want to lose a fight, you can suspect or expect this to be the best Lamont Roach you've ever seen versus probably the worst Gervonta Tank Davis you ever seen. I just never seen Gervonta's situation so wild. Okay, it's just so untamed right now, and it's not really together.
Al Bernstein summed up the general sentiment shared by most experts, confidently stating that Roach did not possess the necessary tools to defeat Gervonta Davis. While Bernstein had acknowledged Roach's achievements and skill, he had pointed out that Davis's overwhelming superiority in terms of skill, experience, and physical attributes would likely prove too much for Roach to handle. Bernstein expressed respect for Roach, but emphasized that an upset victory seemed unlikely when facing someone as dominant as Tank.
Roach is coming up in weight. He came up in weight doing that. I don't see him. He's a good fighter, but I don't see. He's nothing in his past tells me he's going to beat Gervonta Davis or even be competitive with him. And I'm not. It's not a denigration of Lamont Roach. He's a good fighter.
So how did you react to this fight? Do let us know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and check out some of our other videos on the screen right now.